Stay up on the latest this hurricane season. Please subscribe for future updates.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weather Nerds YouTube channel. Decided I'd go ahead and give you a special update since we officially have Tropical Storm Ernesto that has formed here late this afternoon, and it's right in that target zone that we typically see climatologically speaking. And when we talk about climate, we're talking about like history and looking back in the past, and this is where we traditionally see storms begin. Some 70 storms have formed in the last 100 years in this area, and that's exactly where we're seeing Ernesto forming out there right now. Here's the latest infrared imagery here with the storm system, a fairly broad area of circulation. The thunderstorms are really not overly organized at this point, but we are expecting tropical storm force winds to move through the northern portions of the Windward Islands, I should say, as it moves up to the U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, and even kind of clipping Puerto Rico before it makes a turn and starts to head further off into the north. Here's a different perspective. It is a little bit closer in here. Again, you see the showers and thunderstorms around that center of circulation, so things are going to be going downhill quickly here across the northern Windward Islands here as this continues moving this direction. And it looks like the track should clip it pretty close to Puerto Rico. So tomorrow we'll be able to look at the actual radar from Puerto Rico as the storm system starts to go by throughout the day tomorrow, and then make the turn to the north as we head into your Thursday. So here's the official information from the National Hurricane Center, setting at 16.0 north and 57.5 west. Moving west-northwest at 28. That's really hauling very fast, moving very fast, hauling ass, whatever you want to say here as it's moving off toward the west. Traditionally, when you get a storm moving that fast, it's usually not a good thing because that's a little bit too fast for development to take place, but I think it'll slow down as it starts to make this turn here to the north. Notice that the track gets very close here on early Wednesday morning here as it's moving into portions of Puerto Rico before it moves northward there as we head into later in the work week. All right, so here is the spaghetti plot models. All the models are generally following the same trend, so obviously that's the forecast trend here. Looks like we get up to about a Category 2 forecast-wise, but it still would not shock me if this thing gets stronger than what's currently being forecasted, because traditionally, sometimes the models do not handle the strength intensity very well. A couple outliners here still to try to take it over to the Florida coast, but don't worry. If you're over here in Florida, East Coast, don't worry about this. I think this thing is really going to be staying out to sea the way things are currently projected to go. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the latest European model. This is the afternoon run here on your 12Z, and again, you can look at your timestamp there at the upper right-hand corner as I'm going to go ahead and track you through the storm system here as we kind of take it through the islands and through areas there of Puerto Rico as we start to get that to form there as we go throughout the day on Wednesday, and it pulls off toward the north. The one thing I want you to see that's kind of driving this system as far as its approach is that you have this trough, you have this frontal boundary here that's acting like a magnet and is pushing this thing to the north. So that's what we're seeing there with the upper level dynamics. The high pressure system is way over here. The Azores high, sometimes the Bermuda high, depending on how it sets up, is well off toward the west. So it's going around the periphery of that high that's driving that around for the system to be driven up toward the north, as well as that weakness that's there as well. So watch what happens here as we go further into this upcoming weekend. That trough's going to kind of weaken, and it's going to kind of slow down here a little bit. It's going to wait for another piece of energy that's going to be exiting off the eastern seaboard here to pick up what should be a hurricane at this point out here in the middle of the Atlantic. Now, I will say this much. If you have any plans for this weekend, you definitely want to make sure that you watch out for the surf conditions here up and down the East Coast, because we're probably going to have some very rough surf, say from New Jersey down toward Florida, because of this hurricane that is off the coast there. But we're going to be waiting for another trough that's going to pick this system up as it continues to move off toward the east. And once it does, and once that trough begins to east, and you start to see it there as we go into late in the day on your Sunday. Here's that exiting frontal system coming down here. It's going to pick this thing up and really shut it off very quickly and very fast up across the northern Atlantic, and actually heading toward Ireland, believe it or not, by the time we head into early next week. This thing is really going to take off very, very quickly. So again, watch that timestamp in the upper hand corner as this gets caught up in the flow there and really starts to take off across the northern Atlantic. And again, starting to head toward the island of Ireland as we go through that. But notice that things quiet down briefly here for a little bit. We're still going to have some activity here in the intertropical convergence zone. We're going to have to watch any of this area here for possible development as we go into later in the month. So once we get past August 20th, things will start to really pick up as far as activity out in the tropics, because that, my friend, is when we start getting in toward the really peak of the hurricane season. So we're talking anywhere from August 20th through October 10th. That is, we basically get 2/3 of your hurricane activity. So we're on our 5th named storm of the season. But once we get past the 20th and we start heading into that first week of September, I think we're going to see things cranking. Now, we've been dealing with a lot of Saharan dust out in the Atlantic. That should start to diminish as we start to wrap up the month of August. And I think we'll see more activity start to flare up once again as we look at later in the month. So again, recapping what we've got going on right now is we do have a new tropical storm, Ernesto, here. It's forecast to move through the islands and get pretty close to Puerto Rico as we go into early Wednesday morning before it turns northward. Thankfully, it will not be a hurricane when it moves to the islands. It's a pretty strong tropical storm at that point, and then move out into the open Atlantic where we'll see things slowly but surely begin to improve. All right, that's your quick updated forecast here on the tropics. Again, if you'd like to get updates on this on a regular basis, please, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content, and give me a comment. Let me know what you think down below and what you'd like to see in this report. All right, that's it for now. You guys take it easy. Be good, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.